Hi, I'm Jerry Ford, welcoming you to Attic Treasures and Babylock's newest machine, the Jazz. And there's no better way to show you how wonderful this machine is to do a project on it. So what we're going to do is make these wonderful little microwavable potato bags. These are quick and easy to make, and they make great gifts, and they really do make the most fluffy, tastiest potatoes. And a fraction of the time it takes to bake them in the oven. Okay, let's get started. You're going to need to use 100% cotton in order to make this project. Your fabric, your batting, and your thread all needs to be 100% cotton. You can't use polyester or a cotton polyester blend. So you're going to need one piece of fabric for the outside of your bag, and I've cut mine 10 inches by 20 inches. Piece of batting. Now the batting you need to have needs to be 100% cotton. You can either buy the kind of batting that is made for making bags, but you don't necessarily have to. You just have to make sure that whatever batting you select is 100% cotton, and it has no resins, no scrim, and no glues in it. For this I use Quilter's Dream Cotton, and it doesn't have any of those things. Then you also want a piece of unbleached muslin. I'd rather have one that doesn't have any dyes in it. Also 10 inches by 20 inches, and you're going to cut your batting the same 10 inches by 20 inches. A lot of the patterns that I see for the potato bags will tell you to just put your pieces together and sew them. Well, I wanted this to be quilted, because the problem is unless it's quilted, when you go to wash it, that batting is going to bunch up, especially if it doesn't have any scrim or glues or resins in it. So I'm going to quilt it together. Decorative stitches. For this one, I cross-hatched it. I use decorative stitches. This is a good time to use your decorative stitches, or you could stipple it. Free motion, quilt it. You could do anything you like on here. Actually want to consult your batting to see how close it has to be quilted. This one can be quilted, I think, every 4 or 6 inches. So I really am only going to have to put a couple of rows down the middle, and that's what I'm going to use some of my decorative stitches to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and wind a bobbin and the needle with 100% cotton. This machine is very easy to use. You have controls here. This is your width control and your length. It's a purely mechanical machine. It has 27 different, actually 28 stitches, including the buttonhole. And it's a pure mechanical machine, so it's a machine that's great for someone who wants simplicity and doesn't need a whole lot of extra stitches. And it is a workhorse. You have clear threading paths. This one is telling you how the threading path and how to wind a bobbin. You have clear pictures here to show you how to thread the needle as well. You just follow the numbers, and I'll go ahead and thread this needle. Okay, for this I'm threading my needle with 100% 40 weight cotton quilting thread, so it works just fine. Long staple Egyptian cotton is just perfect. So anyway, I put it through the guide here, run it on the pre-tension disc, come down to number 2. Come around to number 3, and I'm going to put the needle all the way to the top, come up to the top, and go around the take-up lever, come straight down into this hook. I want to make sure my needle is all the way up as far as it will go, and it has a built-in needle threader that makes it very easy to thread the needle, and you don't have to see. Okay. Then it's ready to go. Also notice it has a knee lifter, which makes it very easy to raise and lower your presser foot. It raises and lowers, so you can have hands-free sewing. Okay, let's sew this. I'm just going to pick a simple decorative stitch and just stitch down the center. Okay, I'm going to select stitch number 24. It's a nice herringbone type design. So to select it, I'm going to go to stitch number. I just turn the hand wheel here on this side. It's hard right there. There's a hand wheel up here, and down here is your stitch selector. And I want to just go to 24. I'm going, because this is a stretch stitch, I'm going to put my stitch length at 7, and I'm going to put my stitch length at 4 and my stitch width at 7. Notice that I have nice clear LED lighting. You also have a full 12 inches from needle all the way to the edge of my inside of my machine, so it gives you lots of throat space, so you can really handle a nice big quilt in here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to just simply stitch right down the middle. So here it goes. Now notice it has a low shank ankle, so therefore if I wanted to use a walking foot, I could. The typical standard Babylock walking foot will fit on this machine. I'm going to stitch this a lot faster so we can get through it. It has a side cutter here, and as you can see, it does very nice decorative stitches. Here is an example what all of the decorative stitches look like when they're stitched out, and I've used a 40 weight quilting thread in here, which other machines have had some problems with skipping stitches using that heavy thread in my needles, but it handled it very well and very fast. It stitches at about 1,000 stitches a minute. Okay, now this is a quilting bar, and I'm going to insert it. It fits right into the back of the ankle, and I want to set it for whatever. I only made one line, but I want it to be about maybe 2.5 inches away, so I've set this quilting bar right here because I'm going to do the next set of stitches right beside it. There we go, and I'm just going to start stitching. Do the second row, and I'm leaving the bar right here so that it is following the first line of stitching. That way I don't have to mark any more than I have to. And I'll go ahead and finish stitching this off camera. Okay. And now that I don't have the mark, you should be able to see this stitch a lot better. Isn't that a pretty stitch? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. If you saw some shaking while I was stitching the first line, it's because I'm on a really bouncy table, so I'm going to slow this at a slower speed, not because I need to because of the machine, but because this table is kind of flimsy and it's bouncing up and down. I'm used to my wonderful koala cabinetry, which is nice and steady and doesn't cause all this bouncing. So I'll go ahead and stitch this, and you can see how smoothly it'll stitch. And I'll speed this up a bit for you. Okay, it's all finished. And I got nice even lines. You saw from my hand positions, it had great control. I didn't have to do a lot of hyper controlling it to make it stay straight. It really did a beautiful job. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is just trim this up because I have this my batting a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make this all even. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take the quilting bar off a 1/4 inch foot. There we go. I want the 1/4 inch foot. Whoop. Things back in there. And it's easy to change the feet. All I do is pull the needle up. I'm going to put this on stitch number 1 because I want it to do a straight stitch. And I'm going to put my stitch length at, this is a big machine, so it won't capture in the shot. I want my stitch length to be about 2.5, and I want my width to be about 3.5, which is going to make it center needle position. And the reason I'm putting it in center needle position is because I'm going to put on the 1/4 inch foot, and it's very easy to change feet in this machine. All I'm going to do is lower the presser foot right on the ankle pin. This is going to give you a good 1/4 inch seam. Okay, I'm going to take my muslin, put it on the right side of my fabric. I may pin it a little bit. Hope if I got it even. Okay, and I'm just going to pin it at the top, just a couple of pins, but you don't have to pin it if you don't want to. And I'm going to pin the other side. And I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, here we go. There's its full speed. No, I don't sew over pins. Not a good idea. Okay. There's my needle all the way to the top. It has a cutter on the left side of the needle. Okay, now I'm going to sew on the other side. Okay. And put my threads. And I'm going to turn this muslin on the right sides in right side out. You can press it at the iron, but I'm just going to finger press it for now. And I'm going to top stitch these two edges together again. I'm sewing about 1/4 inch away. And the other side, same thing. I like to start with my needle all the way up. And if you did, and I like to pull my threads behind, that way you don't get any of that nesting underneath of the bobbin. So I'm just going to hold that and about 1/4 inch away, or 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do them both a 1/4. I don't necessarily have to back tack because I'm going to be stitching across again. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to form the bag. Okay, so I'm going to fold over the top of the bag about 2 inches. But before I do that, I need to make a loop, because I like to put a loop in these so that I can hang them up, and they also serve they double as a pot holder. For the loops, you want to take about 1.5 inch by 5 inch piece of fabric, and I've just simply folded it over. I'm going to match the edges, and that's all, and straight stitch it. That's all I need right at the edge. If I want to do it twice, I can on either side, just to make simple loops. You could take them and turn them if you like to. Do the other side, just so it's going down both sides. Okay, I've made my loops. Just trim the ends off. Alright. Then you're going to take the piece we had before, and I'm going to fold this to the right side about 2 inches. And on one side, the side that I want to put the hanging loop, I'm just going to fold this, put that right up inside the fold right there. You can see that. And I'm just going to pin it down. And I might put a pin there just to hold it while I manipulate things. Okay. And I'm going to pull this down this way too. Okay, I'm going to bring the bottom all the way to the top, but I'm going to overlap it by and leave about 1/2 inch at the top, and I'm going to pin that in. In other words, where the loop ends is where I'm going to put the bottom of the bag, and it's going to be the muslin side towards, up at the top. Okay, and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch. Would help if I could get it even. There we go. Now you could put more pins if you wanted to. I might put a couple more, but you don't have to. And I'm going to just simply stitch right down the middle, right down 1/4 inch away, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And I'm going to back tack. And it will help to have a size 14 needle. This is, you're going through a lot of layers, so it's going to help to go through. And I probably should have used a walking foot on this. I'm just going to give this a little tension like this, pull it nice and straight. And if you get some growing and you don't have a walking foot, here's my suggestion how you can be your own walking foot. So you just simply have got a pair of scissors or a stiletto of some sort, and just sort of keep pushing the top layer into the fabric. I'm doing 3/8 of an inch, not quite 1/4. At the very bottom I want to back tack again, and now this is ready to come out, and I will use the knee lifter and pull it out. I'm having to use the knee lifter with my hand because I'm so short, my knee is going right up underneath of this knee lifter. Now if I had this recessed into my table at home, that'd be another story. Okay, same thing down here. I'm going to go about 3/8 an inch. I'm going to come in a little bit, take a stitch, back tack. And sometimes it helps to leave a tail because I'm going through a lot of layers and I am not using the proper foot. Now another thing I could do, which I didn't think about it, is that you have got on the right side of this, left side of this machine, you have got a presser foot lever so that you can actually control how much pressure is being exerted. It may be there, that's going through much easier because it's not so dense. And here's where the loop is. And no, I'm not sewing over that pin. That pin is way back. But see, it's going through several layers rather easily. And I'm just using a size 12 needle. I should be using a size 14. Okay, I'm going to put that needle all the way up. And now one other thing I'm going to do, if you have a serger, you can serge these clean. However, if you have a serger, that means you have to have 3 spools of cotton thread. So I'm going to use a serger-like foot on here, a serger-like stitch on here, an overcasting stitch. I have an overcasting foot. So I'm going to change that out to the overcasting foot. And I'm going to select the overcasting stitch, which on this machine is stitch number, let's do stitch number 15, which is a stretch stitch. So I'm going to select, come to this, the left side, and select stitch number 15. 15, and this I'm going to put it on the widest and the longest because this is a stretch stitch. On the right edge of this foot, you can see a little, come on, got my thread wrapped around the foot, sorry. Okay. On the right edge of this foot, you've got a little blade right there, and that's going to show you the edge of the fabric. So you're going to put the edge of the fabric right there, and I'm going to do an overcasting like stitch. It is not the same as a serger, but it actually is going to work very well to seal in the edges of this foot. It also gives it a little extra double stitch. And do the same thing on the other side. Which is another overcasting stitch. And then I'll remove the pins and turn the bag right sides out. You might want to use a turner. I'll clip all these threads first. And one way in order to get a nice sharp corner is to put your thumb into the corner, push down the very corner right there, pull it through, and that makes your corner turn about 90% there. This is old Nancy Zeman trick, and it works wonders. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to put my thumb inside, hold that, turn it. Here, and turn it. I might use a point turner to finish turning it and give it a good press to get rid of the lines. And now the bag is finished. Okay. It is not yet ready to use. If you give this as a gift, it needs to be laundered before you use it with food, because there are dyes in the fabric, there is sizing, there's starches, there's fillers in the fabric, and you don't want that in the food. The reason you don't want to use polyester thread especially is because polyester is a petroleum product. When that's heated up in the microwave, do you really want to be eating that? I don't. So, it is finished. Now, you can get a copy of the written pattern, and you can email me at waltzquilt@yahoo.com, and I'll send you a copy of the written pattern. And I even have a little guide at the end of the written pattern that shows you guidelines on how to use this potato bag, and you can give this with the potato bag when you give it as a gift, and it tells them how to use this. Certain things that I want to tell you what you want to do is that one thing, you want to make sure that if this is on a turntable, that you don't want the edges of the bag in order to be stuck on the turntable, because if this gets stuck in one place all the time, that's how these bags can melt and catch on fire and cause different problems. I usually will also, when I put it in the microwave, tuck that tab underneath so that it does not get caught on the door. If you have a small microwave, then you might want to make this bag even smaller. This will fit 2 large potatoes in there. You could fit more in there, but I don't like to leave this bag in the microwave for more than 6 minutes. 8 minutes is your absolute limit. In fact, I prefer not to leave it in there for more than 4 minutes. And again, you want to launder it before you use it, and you do not want to use fabric softener, because there again, do you want those perfumes and fragrances in your food? I know I do not. You could also do 2 potatoes, red potatoes, sweet potatoes. You can put in 3 medium bread rolls, corn on the cob. With the potatoes, remember, you just wash them. You do not need to prick them. Just wrap them in a paper towel and put them in the bag. Flour tortillas work really well in here. If you have a large microwave oven, you can make this bag bigger. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about making the bag, you can contact me at waltzquilt@yahoo.com, and I can send you written instructions on how to make this bag. Or if you have any questions about the machine or any of the procedures we did, you can contact us at Attic Treasures at 703-490-1536. If you have any questions about the Jazz or would like to purchase this wonderful machine that makes quilting so much easier and more enjoyable, then contact your nearest Babylock dealer. This is a machine that's exclusive to Babylock, and I truly like this machine. I don't get excited about a machine very often, but I'm excited about this one. So until next time, see you later. Bye.